And I'll just read a little bit of this, make a comment, and then let Phil come up, because I'm sure he has a lot to say. Coach Petty began his coaching career at Chase County High School, where he was the men's basketball coach for 2 years before moving on to Pratt Community College. At Pratt, Phil was the head women's basketball coach, assistant men's basketball coach, and assistant football coach for 3 years. Phil began his coaching career at Dodge City Community College in 1981. He was originally from St. Mary's, Kansas. He had many hats when he came here, and I'll get into that part. He is married with his wife Donna, is here. He has 3 children, Samantha, Danielle, and Michael. Now, I have to tell a real quick story about Phil. Phil had the 2 girls while he was here, and we said, gosh, Phil, you got a girl. He said, yeah, but I'm going to call her Sammy. Then he had another girl. I said, well, gosh, Phil, you had another girl. She said, yeah, but I'm going to call her Danny. And then finally, Mikey came around. I said, what are you going to call her, Mary? When Phil came to Dodge City Community College, and I had a little bit of a part to do with that, we had an opening. In those days, we had a softball, volleyball, and basketball opening in women's. In those days, we didn't have assistant coaches in those sports. And as you can read in Phil's bio, he had the honor of being able to coach multiple sports. So I said, Phil, it'd be a good job for you. Come take it. So Phil came to Dodge City. In the fall, he coached volleyball. He then went straight from volleyball to women's basketball. And the thing that I really remembered about Phil, as far as coaching women's basketball, we used to have the high jump mat sitting in the side of the gym. And Phil would coach volleyball, and then he would lay on the mats while we practiced. And sometimes he would rest, and then he would say, hey, can you keep it down? I'm trying to get a nap here before practice. We'd be done with our practice, and then he would go immediately to women's basketball. Then in the spring, he went to softball. He coached all 3 sports, didn't have any assistant coaches in those days, and he's the winningest coach in women's basketball with 141 wins. His winning percentage of 64% in volleyball with 193 and 107 wins is the record. And he also found time to coach softball and earned a national ranking as high as 8th in his first year. We called him Flip, and when Phil comes up, you'll see his personality. If you look up the word coach in a dictionary, you'll see Phil's picture there. Because to coach 3 sports, no assistant, in those days, women's basketball, women's softball, volleyball were sports that were growing. So Phil was on the verge of becoming a recruiter in all 3 sports. And so it is my honor, my pleasure, to introduce our next inductee, Phil Petty, Coach of the Year, inducted in the Hall of Fame. Phil. You cannot talk for 8 hours.
All right. Well, it's great to be back in Dodge City. It's been 25 plus years since I was here, and the first thing I want to do is apologize. I walk in here, and a lot of people walk up, and they say, hey, Phil, good to see you again. And I'm going, who's this old guy? Who's this old girl? And I couldn't recognize. So if you knew me, and I know I don't look any different, but some of you have changed a little bit over 25 years. I'm sorry. I had a great time here, and everybody here was really good to me. The only person that I actually recognized was Eldon Becker. And I think he was old when I left here, so I don't think he's changed a lot. But no, Eldon was great. It was a great time here. Now, Casey told you that I coached 3 sports and I did all that stuff. And everybody said, why did you leave? Why did you get out of coaching? You were doing pretty good, you know. I mean, I was lucky I had a lot of good talent. Because I was doing 3 sports in 8 years, I said, that's it for me, I'm done. I was wore out. It was tough, it got harder. It was hard to recruit for that many teams, and I basically just got pooped. I got 3 things. I didn't write anything down. I'm not good at that. I'm kind of an off the wing guy. I coach that way. Malik will tell you I make up plays during timeouts. But I do want to get some things done here. First of all, I want to thank my wife, Donna, who came here with me. Remember now, I was just a young buck when I come in here, and 28 years old, and they gave me these jobs, and Don was there and stood by my side the whole time. Those 8 years we were here, not only we were coaching, but we were building a family. I was very fortunate to get the three young, or not young anymore, but 3 kids that I got. I love my daughters. 2 of them are here, Samantha and Danielle, and they're better halves, or soon to be better halves, and we can say that here in Dodge. We don't want that to slip out all over the internet. And my son Michael, who wanted to be here, who I'm so proud of, he was just a little fella when he left here. He'd been here, I think he was 5 when we left here to go to Tennessee. And he still hates me to the day because we left Dodge City, Kansas. Now I'm sitting there going, okay, you're 5. I don't remember a lot of stuff until I was probably like 4. How did you remember Dodge City? But he remembered Dodge City, and I swear, if he gets a chance, he'd retire here. He went into the Marine Corps. We're so proud of him. Served 5 years, 6 years, and did 2 tours, and came back all in one piece, and we're so happy for that. And so I'm really proud of him. I wish he could be here to see his dad get an award, because I don't think he's ever thought I'd get him. But actually, I didn't think, I really am kind of shocked as I look around. I see the great Eddie Smith over here, and I remember Eddie. It's great. Stacy Boyle, hometown hero, great ball player, best player I ever coached. Rosalyn Garcia, who could be here, but I don't know how many people remember her, but she was 20 years ahead of her time. I know Greg remember, because we brought her into that Boozle All-Star game, remember that? And we're going, whoa, you gotta get this one. And, I mean, she could light it up, and I know the football dude, I'm sure it would have been great. And you know, the track team or cross country team, they were here before I was, so, but at least most of the people that are inducted I know, and that's great. So I want to thank my family. They were great. The other people I got to thank were the players. I mean, to be like inducted as a coach because you win games. I think Casey forgot to mention I'm also the all-time losingest coach in women's basketball, women's volleyball, and probably women's softball. It's a longevity game, right? You stay here long enough, you're going to get lucky and you win some games. But we did win a lot of games, and there's 2 things that I was proud of when I was coaching here. In all 3 sports, we were always competitive. We didn't win all the time. It was tough to win all the time. I mean, some of the coaches here were talking about how hard it is to win all the time because you're rotating out players every 2 years. But we were always competitive, and we always did it within state Western Kansas girls, and that was a big deal. I think in the 8 years I was here, we had 4 girls that were not from the state of Kansas, and all of them were from Western Kansas. So it was kind of nice. And the little guy that brought me in here, guy's name was Max Van Landingham. I'm sure a lot of people in here remember old Max. He said, Phil, this is a great opportunity for you. He said, you can go over there, and he said, but I want you to win them with Kansas girls. And I know what it was. He said, I want you to coach 3 sports. And I know why he wanted me to coach 3 sports, because he was looking for ways to save money so he could give it to Collins and Malik for their programs. So I'm coaching. I'm getting paid nothing, 3 head jobs, coaching jobs, getting paid nothing, and can't have any out-of-state recruits. And I'm going, well, how am I supposed to win a game? But I was lucky. I picked up some great players. Now, I'm going to finish with this because I know Casey thinks I stand up here and talk all day. And some of you already, I will when I get done. The two girls, I had great girls. I can list them all. And when I drove up there, the memories just kept coming in. I just kept thinking, God, that girl and this girl. But the 2 that are getting inducted tonight, they deserve to be in this Hall of Fame. They really do. The first one I want to talk about is Rosalyn. I'm not going to talk much about her. If she'd been here, I might have said a few more things. But you had to see her to believe her. And the only story I can tell you that other than, she scored a lot of points. She was 20 years ahead of her time. But when I was recruiting that year, the coach from Elkhart sent me a tape, and he had a girl, I think it might have even been his daughter. And he said, I got a girl that's a heck of a player, and I want you to come out here and recruit her, because we had one of the better programs around the area. And he sent me some tape, and I turned that tape on. Of course, it's not live tape stuff now, it's like, I don't know what it might be, 16 millimeter or something, whatever it was. I saw this girl come down, throw it to the right, back to the left, fade away, top of the key, nothing but net. And I said, yeah, coach, I want I want that girl. No, that's not the one I'm talking about. I'm talking about this other one. I said, no, I want that one. He said, nah, you don't want that one. She's nothing but trouble. And I said, I can live with that kind of trouble. So I went out there. I went out to Elkhart, Kansas, and she comes in, and this girl is the most confident, because I don't want to say cocky. This girl she's very confident about her abilities. And I said something about, well, I'm from Dodge City, and I'd like to have you come play for me, at the junior college. And she said, why should I play for you? I could play anywhere in the country. And I go, well, who's recruiting you? He goes, well, coach ain't letting nobody recruit me. I said, maybe I'll come to Dodge, play a couple of years, and then you can go anywhere in the country. And I'm telling you, her freshman year, she could have went anywhere in the country. And after the Voodoo All-Star game, she could have went anywhere in the state. And I luckily had her name on a piece of paper, so I had her inked in. So Robert Lynn had her some problems, but she's a great person. She's turned into a great person. And she's doing a lot of good work, but she was a tremendous. Guys, if you saw her play, you'd joke. Diana Taurasi, 20 years earlier. Now, the second one is my favorite one. And so I'm saving Stacy for last. And the reason I think Stacy's my favorite player, she also was an All-American, first-team All-American, but she was a local girl from Dodge City, 6'2", good athlete, good skills, and I recruited her, but she wasn't that confident in herself, and she wasn't that good a basketball player in her mind. And we had to get into her head and make her believe she was a great player. And she worked so hard. And after the 2 years, in the 2 years she was there, I think she was like all-time leading scorer of the season, second overall, first team All-American, went on to K-State, did great things. But once she found out how good she could be, not only was she just a good basketball player, she was a great person. So, Stacy, I'm really proud of you. I mean, I don't know why I belong on this wall with the rest of these guys and girls, but I'll tell you what, you deserve to be up here. I don't know why it took them so long to get your plaque up on that wall, but I'm really proud of you, okay? And everybody here in Dodge, I'll tell you what, the 8 years I was here, I'm telling you, Dodge City's great. It'll always be, even though I've been in Tennessee for 25 years and we're still fighting the war down there, I'm telling you, I would come back to Dodge City in a heartbeat, because the wind blows all the time. You got a casino out. If I know you're going to build this thing, I might have hung around another 25 years. And I hope it keeps going, and I hope you guys appreciate. I know you do what you got here. You've had some great ball players. I can't wait to see next year's class and the class after that, because even the years I was here, and Eddie will tell you when he gets up here, there was some good Benny Moores. We can sit down here and name guys and players and football guys, Tasker, Del Pino. This place turned out, Greg knows there's some athletes come through this joint. And they're going to have to build another wall to put all them plaques up, I think, when it's all said and done. Thank you all, and anybody, I'll cut around. I'd like to say hi to everybody, and if I didn't recognize you once again, I apologize. Except for Ellie. Thank you.
Thanks, Flip.